From prisoner to police asset, one man flipped the system inside out. The sound of gunfire shattered the night. It echoed through a quiet Florida neighborhood as police cars swarmed a small apartment complex near Miami. Inside one of the units, a man known on the streets as Rico was pinned to the floor, his hands cuffed, his face pressed against cold tile. The officers had been watching him for months, tracking every delivery, every phone call, every coded message. Rico had been one of the biggest cocaine traffickers in southern Florida. But tonight wasn't just another drug bust. It was the beginning of something far bigger and far more dangerous. "Do you want to spend the rest of your life behind bars?" an FBI agent asked him quietly as they let him out. "Or do you want to make this right?" Rico didn't answer. He just stared through the flashing lights, his mind racing. He knew what that question meant. It wasn't an offer of mercy, it was a test. If he cooperated, he could walk free someday. But if the wrong people found out, he'd be dead before sunrise. That night, in a holding cell, Rico made a choice that would flip his entire world upside down. He agreed to work for the very people who had just arrested him, the federal government. From that moment, the former trafficker became a secret police asset. His mission? To help the feds take down one of the biggest drug cartels in the United States. But the deal came with a deadly catch. To make it work, Rico had to go back, deep into the same cartel he had once served, and pretend nothing had changed. Before he became a police asset, Rico was just a street kid from Hialeah, a rough neighborhood near Miami. His father had left when he was 8. His mother worked double shifts cleaning offices. By 16, Rico was already running errands for local dealers, delivering packages for quick cash. He was smart, fast, and fearless, qualities that made him stand out in the streets. By 25, he had built a name for himself. His crew was small but loyal. He never touched the product, he just moved it, from hidden warehouses to safe drop points across the state. Money came easy, and respect came even faster. But success in that world always came with eyes watching from the shadows, both cops and killers. Then came the night. Everything fell apart. One of Rico's trusted men got caught with a shipment. Facing years in prison, the man talked, giving up names, addresses, and details that pointed straight to Rico. Within days, the DEA had enough evidence to make their move. Rico's entire operation crumbled overnight. In jail, word spread fast. Everyone knew someone had snitched. Rico stayed silent, knowing that any sign of weakness would make him a target. But when federal agents pulled him aside for a private meeting, they didn't threaten him. They offered a deal. They told him they were after something bigger. The Miami operation was only a small piece of a nationwide cartel, one with ties stretching all the way to Mexico and Colombia. The feds needed someone on the inside, someone the cartel already trusted, and Rico was perfect. At first, he refused. Working with the police was the ultimate betrayal. In his world, rats didn't live long. But then he thought about his sentence. 40 years minimum. He'd be an old man by the time he got out. That night, lying on the hard jail bed, he realized something. The cartel he had served for years wouldn't lift a finger to save him. They didn't care. He was just another name in their chain. So he flipped. When Rico returned to the streets, everything seemed normal. The cartel welcomed him back, thinking he had posted bail through hidden money. No one suspected the small recording device sewn into his jacket. No one noticed the GPS tracker hidden in his car. Every meeting, every shipment, every coded conversation, all of it was being recorded for the feds. Within months, his information helped agents uncover stash houses, money laundering fronts, and even corrupt police officers who were secretly working for the cartel. Rico was their golden key, the man who could open doors they couldn't even find. But the deeper he went, the more dangerous it became. His old friend started to question him. One night, during a delivery, a cartel enforcer pulled him aside. "Rico," he said, lighting a cigarette. "Word is somebody's feeding info to the feds. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?" Rico's heart stopped. He forced a smile, pretending to laugh it off. "Come on, man. You really think I'd risk my life for them?" The enforcer stared at him for a long, silent moment before walking away. Rico exhaled, but he knew it was only a matter of time before someone uncovered the truth. And when that happened, not even the FBI could save him. As Rico sat in his car that night, a message came through his encrypted phone from his handler at the FBI. "We have to move tonight. They know." He looked in the rearview mirror and saw 2 black SUVs pulling up behind him. Rico's hands trembled as he gripped the steering wheel. The 2 black SUVs behind him rolled to a stop, their engines humming low, like predators waiting to strike. For a split second, he didn't know whether to run or stay. His FBI handler's text was still glowing on his phone screen. "We have to move tonight. They know." He reached for the ignition, but before he could drive off, the SUV doors swung open. 2 masked men stepped out, guns in hand. Rico's heart pounded as adrenaline took over. He slammed the car into reverse, hitting a trash bin and spinning the vehicle around. Bullets cracked through the windshield as he sped down the dark street. "Come on, Rico. Think," he muttered to himself, swerving around corners, the sound of tires screeching behind him. His phone buzzed again. This time, a call. It was Agent Miller, his contact in the FBI. "Rico, listen to me. You're burned. They found out someone was wearing a wire in the last meeting. We need to get you to the safe house now. Head to Highway 27. We have a chopper ready." But Rico wasn't listening anymore. In the mirror, he saw the SUVs gaining ground. One of them rammed his back bumper, forcing him towards a construction site. The airbags exploded, filling the cabin with dust. Rico gasped, blood dripping from his lip. He crawled out, clutching his shoulder. The gunmen were getting closer. He could hear their voices, Spanish accents, tense, angry, searching. He ducked behind a bulldozer, trying to stay quiet. His phone vibrated again, but he silenced it. One wrong sound could give him away. Minutes felt like hours, until suddenly, flashing red and blue lights appeared at the far end of the site. Federal agents burst in, shouting commands. The cartel men panicked, firing wildly before retreating into the darkness. Within seconds, the night exploded with chaos, sirens, gunshots, shouting, and dust. Rico felt a hand grabbing from behind, but this time, it was Agent Miller. "You're lucky we tracked your GPS," Miller said, pulling him toward an armored van. "If we'd been 10 minutes late, you'd be gone." As the van sped away, Rico leaned back, breathing heavily. "So, that's it?" he asked. "I'm done?" Miller looked at him grimly. "No, Rico, this is just the start." The next morning, Rico woke up in a safe house somewhere outside Tampa. It was quiet, too quiet. The air smelled of bleach and old furniture. On the table beside him lay a folder marked confidential. Inside were photos, faces of cartel members he'd once worked with. Some were already arrested, others were still out there. Miller entered the room, holding 2 cups of coffee. "You did good," he said. "Your info led us to 3 major drug seizures. We've also detained 5 of their money men, but their boss, El Cazador, he's still moving shipments across the border. We need you to help us finish this." Rico's eyes narrowed. "You want me to go back again, after what just happened?" "Rico," Miller replied, "you're the only one who can get us close. We can protect you, but you have to trust the process." Rico shook his head. "You don't understand. They're not like the guys you deal with on paper. If they find me, I won't get a second chance." But deep down, Rico knew there was no way out. The only thing keeping him alive now was his usefulness. If he stopped helping, the feds could easily let his deal fall apart. So once again, he agreed. though this time it felt more like walking into his own grave. Weeks later, Rico was back in Miami under a new identity. He was introduced to the cartel again through an old contact who didn't know he was working with the feds. Everything was staged, fake IDs, fake business fronts, even fake cash for deals. But the danger was very real. During one tense meeting at a waterfront warehouse, Rico met a new face, a tall man with a scar running from his ear to his jaw. Everyone called him El Toro. He wasn't the boss, but he was close to El Cazador. Rico's mission was simple: earn El Toro's trust. "You've been gone a long time," El Toro said, pouring himself a drink. "People say you disappeared when things got hot. Why should I trust you now?" Rico smiled carefully. "Because I can make you money again." El Toro stared at him, silent for a long moment, then laughed. "All right, Rico, let's see if you're still as good as they say." That night, Rico reported everything to the FBI, but what he didn't know was that the cartel had already planted someone inside his circle, someone who was feeding them information just like he was feeding the feds. The trap was being set. Days later, during a supposed deal, Rico arrived at an abandoned motel on the edge of town. He noticed something strange. No guards, no lookouts, no movement, just silence. His instinct screamed, wrong. Then his burner phone rang. It was a number he didn't recognize. "Rico," a deep voice said. "We know who you are." His blood ran cold. "Who is this?" "You flipped the system, huh? Now we're flipping it back." The call ended. Rico froze, staring into the darkness. Behind him, a shadow moved. Then the click of a gun echoed through the air. Rico turned slowly, his breath catching in his throat. A tall man stood in the doorway of the old motel room, a silencer fixed to his pistol. The hallway light flickered behind him, revealing the scar on his face, El Toro. Rico's heart pounded as he raised his hands. "Toro, listen, man, this isn't what you think." "Oh, it's exactly what I think," El Toro said, stepping closer. "You think we don't have eyes everywhere? You think you can work for the gringos and still walk in our world?" Rico took a small step back. He knew one wrong move would end it all. His eyes darted to the side, a half-open window about 10 feet away. But he also knew El Toro wasn't alone. There were always backup men nearby. El Toro tossed a small device onto the floor. It was a recorder, the same model the FBI had given Rico months ago. "We found this in one of the safe houses," he said coldly. "You've been busy." Rico's mind raced. The feds were supposed to have his back. They promised surveillance, promised protection, but no one was coming. No sirens, no backup, nothing. Then, from outside, the faint sound of engines. El Toro heard it too. He turned his head slightly, just long enough for Rico to dive. The gun went off, the bullet grazing Rico's arm. He crashed through the window, landing hard on the gravel below. Pain shot through his shoulder as he scrambled to his feet. "Go! Go! Go!" someone shouted. It was Agent Miller. Black SUVs roared into the lot. FBI agents poured out, guns drawn. The motel exploded in chaos as bullets ripped through the walls. Rico bucked behind a car, clutching his bleeding arm, while El Toro's men returned fire from the windows above. Within minutes, the shootout ended. The agents moved in, clearing the building room by room. Rico sat against the car, exhausted, blood soaking his sleeve. Miller ran over, kneeling beside him. "You're lucky we got your signal," he said. Rico looked up weakly. "Signal? I didn't send anything." Miller frowned. "Then who did?" Hours later, inside a federal safe facility, Rico sat across from Miller in a small interrogation room. His arm was bandaged, his face pale. "You were supposed to be protected," Miller said, pacing. "But someone leaked your identity. That's how they found you." Rico stared at the table. "You're saying one of your own flipped?" Miller didn't answer right away. He finally sighed. "Maybe. The Bureau's been compromised before. We'll find out who did it." For the first time, Rico felt the full weight of his decision. He had risked everything, his name, his family, his life, to help the same system that couldn't even keep him safe.
He was now trapped between two enemies, the cartel that wanted him dead and the law that didn't fully trust him. Days turned into weeks. The FBI used Rico's testimony to issue dozens of warrants. High-ranking cartel members were captured in Florida, Texas, and Arizona. Millions in drug money were seized. But El Cazador, the mastermind, was still out there, hiding somewhere across the border. Then one night, a call came through the secure line. Miller answered, his face tightening. He turned to Rico. "It's him," he said. "El Cazador wants to talk." Rico froze. "To me?" "Yes. He says if you meet him, no one else will get hurt. But if you refuse, he'll start with your family." Rico's blood went cold. His mother, his younger sister, they were under protection, but even that wasn't foolproof. The cartel had eyes everywhere. He looked at Miller. "Set it up." 2 days later, Rico was flown to a secret meeting point near the Texas border, an abandoned airstrip surrounded by desert. The FBI had eyes on the area from miles away, drones circling overhead. Rico stood alone, wind whipping through his hair, the sun setting behind the hills. A single black SUV approached. It stopped a few feet away. The door opened, and out stepped El Cazador. He was calm, dressed in a suit, no visible weapons. "You've caused me a lot of problems, Rico," he said in a low, even voice. "But I'll give you one chance. Walk away. Disappear. You and I never cross paths again." Rico stared at him. "And what about the people you've destroyed, the families you've broken?" He smiled faintly. "That's business. You, of all people, should understand." Rico clenched his fists. He could hear his earpiece crackle. Miller whispering, "Keep him talking. We need him in range." But Rico noticed the slight twitch of his ear. His smile faded. "They're listening, aren't they?" Before Rico could answer, El Cazador pulled a small pistol from his jacket and fired. Rico dropped to the ground, the bullet grazing his ribs. Within seconds, FBI snipers took the shot. El Cazador fell instantly.
The silence that followed felt endless. Later, at a secure base, Miller approached Rico as medics tended to his wound. "It's over," he said quietly. "The cartel's finished. You did it." Rico looked out the window at the horizon. "No," he said softly. "It's never really over. There's always someone waiting to take the throne." Miller nodded. "Maybe, but at least you flipped the system, even if just for a while." Rico smiled faintly. "From prisoner to police asset. Never thought I'd live to say that." As he walked toward the exit, the door opened, sunlight spilling across the floor. He paused for a moment, looking out at the open sky. For the first time in years, he wasn't running, hiding, or lying. He had survived both sides of the war. But somewhere deep down, he knew the game was never truly finished. And as long as there was power to be flipped, someone else would do it next. In the end, Rico's story became more than a tale of crime and betrayal. It became a warning. The moment you step into that world, there are no clean exits. He flipped the system, yes, but it nearly flipped him too. From prisoner to police asset, he risked everything to expose the truth and somehow live to tell it. But in the game of power, loyalty, and survival, there's always another Rico waiting in the shadows. If you found this story powerful, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next true crime case might just be darker than this one.